Hey guys, and welcome to my first impressions video for Kuni II Revenant Kingdom by level 5. I'm about halfway through the main story at this point, around chapter 5, 20 hours or so into the game. And I just want to give my first impressions before I get my review out in a week or two, and talk a little bit about the gameplay, the sound, the graphics, and a tiny bit about the story, and what I feel about how all these things come together. And also about how some of the unique choices they've made incorporating gameplay elements of multiple different genres into this one JRPG that I think creates a very unique experience within the JRPG genre. So with all that said, let's get straight into it. Let's start with the story and get that out of the way first. So far, the story is easily the weakest part of the game so far. It's quite uninteresting and bland at times, and also feels very disjointed, with long periods of no cutscenes and a very strong lack of voice acting, which is quite disappointing. Characters are also very uncompelling or not compelling, and I feel like the story was somewhat of an afterthought because it is, in my opinion, it's that bad. This could change later into the game when stakes ramp up a little bit and it gets more interesting. But at the moment, I don't have high hopes for the story in general. Graphics and sound. The soundtrack, sadly, nothing has really stood out to me so far. I mean, it's fine, you know, it suits the game. It feels a lot like a movie soundtrack instead of a game soundtrack, if that makes any sense at all. And I'm waiting for, you know, a track to really suck me in and get me invested in moments and to draw me in. But the graphics, on the other hand, I really enjoy the graphics. That Studio Ghibli, or Ghibli, if that's how you pronounce it, aesthetic really shines through. And if you're a fan of those movies, you would really feel like you would really enjoy the graphical style of this game, which I do. I think it's really easy on the eyes, really nice, and looks very good. Like I have no complaints about the graphics at all. In fact, I really enjoy them. Something else I do quite enjoy and I quite like is the world that the game is set in. I think the biomes are really unique and diverse. They are very interesting to explore and to move around. And that's one of the stronger points of the game, I believe. Like, the world the game is set in is very enjoyable to explore, to fight monsters in, to go to these different cities and towns. And I think that feeds into the sense of scope and adventure within the game. Okay, now for the part that carries this game, the gameplay. It is, in my opinion, the strongest part of this game. It is so good, starting with the city building. And the city building is so well thought out and so good, from recruiting different citizens to your city by completing side quests, assigning them to different shops and facilities that they are more accustomed to, assigning research to these facilities, upgrading these facilities, upgrading the castle, eventually upgrading your city as a whole. It is so addictive, and it has kind of a idle element to it. You'll find yourself visiting your city over and over again to see how things are progressing and seeing what you can do to improve it. And I think this is so well implemented into this game. It is very enjoyable. The action combat system is also very enjoyable, with being able to have multiple weapons equipped which can be charged to deal more damage with skills or magic depending on the charge. Character switching, which makes the combat even more dynamic. Boss battles have been a highlight so far. They've all been very enjoyable. Higgledies can also be found in the world, these little monsters which can be upgraded to give special benefits and abilities within combat, making combat a highlight so far. There's also the skirmish battles, which you can partake in the open world and do to some side quests that demand you take part in them. They're like RTS missions where you'll be battling enemy units out in the world. There are different types of units, color-coded, which are weak or strong depending on what units they are facing. There's enemy placements like camps and ballistas, which you can take down and then rebuild. There's a might gauge used for quick marching or all-out assaults, which can empower your unit's special abilities, being able to call in reinforcements. I'm not too fond of this part of the gameplay, but I might just need more time with it to see how it progresses further into the game. But I don't really have high hopes for this specific part of the gameplay. So those are my first impressions of Ni no Kuni II. So overall, I am enjoying the game. I aim to have my review out in a week or two if possible, because there is a lot more to get into. I want to get into the DLCs, I want to experience all of the game that I can. And thank you for watching, and I hope you have a nice day.